equipped with 21st century skills and are able to propel the country to development and progress. That's according to DepEd Order number 42 series of 2017. If you can still remember, this is all about the national adoption and implementation of the Philippine Professional Standards for Teachers, or the PPST. So this means there's a need to complement the standards for teachers. So the PPSSH balances with the PPST, or the Philippine Professional Standards for Teachers. So there's a need to realign or align our standards to that of the standards of the teachers, which are clearly stated in the PPST. School leadership plays a key role in improving school outcomes by influencing motivations and capacities of teachers, as well as the school climate and environment. That's according to OECD, or the Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development, 2008, page 2. So this shows how important is our role, or the role of school heads in the improvement of the learner's achievement. The school heads must have the power. What's the power to influence others, especially our teachers? So there's a need for us to be equipped also with the knowledge and skills so we can better perform as leaders in our respective schools. So that if we are equipped, if we are skilled as leaders, or we already have possessed the necessary qualities of good leaders, or best leaders, or exemplary leaders, then we can already help our teachers also improve their quality of teaching, and eventually improve the quality of our learning, the quality of our learners' learning outcomes. So that is why DepEd Order number 24 series of 2020, or the National Adoption and Implementation of the Philippine Professional Standards for School Heads. So you will be hearing all about PPSSH, or the National Adoption and Implementation of the Philippine Professional Standards for School Heads, all throughout this 2-day orientation. And you will always be hearing the word standards also. So hanggang matapos ang ating orientation, so nakatuon talaga ang ating pansin sa PPSSH. Okay, how are the standards, or how are the standards developed and validated? Okay, as you can see here, we have the development design. In this design, it involves both the quantitative and qualitative approaches. So under the quantitative, we have the psychometric studies of indicators, the survey of school heads and supervisors. Then under the qualitative approach, we have the document analysis, the focus group discussion, the research team discussion, the semi-structured interviews, and consultations with stakeholders. Okay, so we have here presented in this slide are the members of the advisory board. As you can see, we have this PPSSH is being co-chaired by Jennifer T. Lopez, the Director 3 of the HROD, together with Director John Arnold Isiena, Director 4 of NAIAP, and the members. So allow me to read all their names because they will have played a great role in the development of the PPSSH. So we have Dr. Arturo B. Bayukot, the Director of Regional Director of Region 10, and we have Director Wilfredo A. Cabral, Regional Director of Region 4A, Dr. Evelyn C. Cruzada, the former Assistant Secretary, Office of the Cabinet Secretary, and also the former President of Leyte Normal University. And we also have here Dr. Juliet A. Heruta, the former Regional Director of Region 7, Dr. Maria Gemma M. Ledesma, the Regional Director of Region 6, and we have Professor Juan Miguel Luz, the ASEAN Institute of Management, Maria Lourdes Di Pantoja, former Director 4 of BHROD, Dr. Gilbert T. Sadsad, the Regional Director, Region 5, and of course our very own Undersecretary in Curriculum and Instruction, Dr. Diosdado F. San Antonio, and finally we have Dr. Ramir B. Oipico, the Regional Director of Region 8. So as you can see, these members of the advisory board are really one of the pillars of the ed, and some are also in other institutions. Okay, the advisory board provided fresh perspectives on various matters, directive thinking to issues that might not have been on the radar of the research team, and ensure that the work is relevant to the ed and the wider community. Okay, aside from the advisory board, we also have here members of the technical working group with Dr. Fillmore R. Caballero, Chief Education Supervisor, SDO Valenzuela City, Dr. Luz E. Usmenia, the OIC ASDS, Bacoor City Region 4A, Miss Mary Lou V. Argamosa, Principal Ligao City, Region 5, Dr. Sara D. Ganancial, Principal Guimaras Region 6, Dr. Enerio E. Ebisa, Principal Iligan City Region 10. So these are the members of the technical working group who are working closely with the advisory board. We're working closely with the advisory board. Okay, so there were activities conducted during the development, just like the advisory board meetings, the PWG meetings, write-ups, which took place on November 18 to February 2019. Then there were revision write-ups, which took place in March to April 2019, and the finalization write-ups. Also, there were consultations done with stakeholders. May I read to you the different consultations done? Then we have, on October 30 to 31, 2018, the roundtable discussions with the 30 school heads and 30 supervisors from across regions. November 20, 2018, the focus group discussions with students, parents, teachers, school heads, and supervisors in Cebu. And December 12 to 14, 2019, the brainstorming with select school heads and supervisors. Then January 14 to 15, 2019, brainstorming with select school heads and supervisors. Then on September 17 to 18, 2019, review with select school heads and supervisors, including presidents of national organizations. So as you can see, the consultations were done with stakeholders. We've done with different stakeholders such as school heads, supervisors, students, parents, teachers, and also including the presidents of national organizations. So on screen are different captured moments during the first validation across regions in February 2019. According to Ma'am Beduyo, she was one of those who were invited during the validation in Cebu. In Iloilo City. So in this picture here on top, the second picture, you can see maybe Ma'am Beduyo is with this group. And together with her was Ma'am Melanie Estacio, who represented the school heads. While Ma'am, according to Ma'am Marilyn Diduyo, she was representing the teachers. Okay. That's during the first validation, no, across regions. Okay, then after that, there were other validations done, like in second and third validation, which took place on or in July to August 2019. So there was one in Region 1, in CAR, in Region 2, Region 3, NCR, Region 4A, Region 4B, Region 5, Region 6, Region 7, Region 8, Region 9, Region 10, and we have in Region 13. Okay, so after those activities done, a series of validations done, so the Ed Order number 24, series of 2020, or the national adoption and implementation of the Philippine professional standards for school heads was finally issued. That was particularly dated in September on September 7, 2020. So, DepEd Order number 24 series of 2020 was developed with the belief that school heads, as stewards of schools, play a crucial role in ensuring an enabling and supportive environment for effective teaching and learning. So this is what I have said, mentioned in our mission, no, as school heads and as stewards of schools, no? Being the captain of the ship, the man masters, the shepherds. So we have our role and we have our responsibility to ensure enabling and supportive environment for effective teaching and learning. Now, changes brought about by various national and global frameworks such as the K-12 Basic Education Program, the ASEAN integration, globalization, and the changing character of 21st century learners necessitate a call for the rethinking of DO number 32 series of 2010, titled The National Adoption and Implementation of the National Competency-Based Standards for School Heads, or the NCBSSH. So are you still familiar with the NCBSSH? So this entails the review of the competency standards to ensure that they respond to the new demands due to the changes in the education environment. So the PPSSH introduces a continuum that supports school heads to improve their professional practice and pursue career progression. So the PPSSH or the Philippine Professional Standards for School Heads, okay, was developed on the belief that there's already a need to rethink of the Ed Order number 32 series in 2010, or the NCBSSH, so that these standards will align to the new demands, to the changes in the education environment. So what are these changes? What are these reforms? So we have the K-12 Basic Education Program, the Philippine Professional Standards for Teachers. So ang teachers, meron na silang standards, pero ang school heads, yung NCBSSH ay hindi na siya naka-align naman sa standards ng mga teachers. So also, another reason is the changes brought about by the ASEAN integration, globalization, and of course, the changing character of the 21st century learners. So we already have here now a new set of learners, the new generation learners. So we need to align also, there's already a need to align the standards to the changing environment, or the changing character also of our learners. So these are the things that we need to reflect on, on how to improve our practice in one domain. Maybe we can go further studies, so we can really achieve the stage or the career states that we would want to be in, Then maybe we can ask help from our fellow school heads, and also engage ourselves in professional discussion, so that we can improve our leadership qualities, our leadership practices that are aligned to the needs of our stakeholders. Now, what are the positions that are covered by the PPSSH? So we have here, of course, the school heads. So when we say school heads, this includes the school in charge, the head teachers, and principals in the department. Also, the school heads or principals in private schools are highly encouraged to adopt the PPSSH, although it's not compulsory, but it's only voluntary. So, but they are highly encouraged. Okay, but for us, school heads who are assigned in the Department of Education, so this is really compulsory. The standards is really compulsory for us. So this will serve as our guide, in our leadership practices. Now, why PPSSH? The DepEd recognizes the roles of school heads in improving the quality of basic education in the Philippines. As what I have said, being the captain of the ship, it is our role to direct our school, our human resource, our human capital, and of course, our community towards the realization of our goals. So the PPSSH upholds that quality student learning is contingent upon quality teachers who are supported by quality leaders. So this means that student learning outcomes depend upon quality teachers with the support of quality leaders. So we need to become quality leaders. I know that in this group, we can really say that there are a lot of quality leaders in this group, in this batch of participants in the PPSSH orientation. And I can really say that also. I can really affirm on that because I know for some of you, I know that you have been really practicing exemplary leadership in your schools. Okay, so there's a need, especially for the young ones, those who are new in the service as school leaders. So there's really a need for us, to have the standards. So we'll be guided, on the different indicators, the different domains, the strands and indicators that we need to practice on, so we can better perform our duties and responsibilities in our school. So um, the quality of student learning is conditional. This is dependent upon the quality teachers who are supported by us, quality leaders. So always na lang namo ni gina-mention na magliwat-liwat daw ni siya, liwat-liwat. Kung bright daw ang principal, mabright pod ang teachers. So kung bright ang teachers, mabright pod ang mga learners. Okay, I think you also have observed that in your school, if we have a teacher who is really considered as quality teacher, ang iya pong mga learners really are quality learners. Tinuod jud na, I can really attest to that. So we need to be equipped, fellow school heads, so equipped with leadership practices that are really exemplary. So kumbaga nasa career stage na yun ang atong pag-manage atong school. And we are already modeling, our practices with others, just like especially to our teachers, we are always, we are always encouraging them to pursue further studies or to attend trainings and seminars. Pero kung kita po nga nag-encourage sila, wala nakita sa atong mga teachers ang ato apong pagka self-motivated, school head. Nakita po mag-una-una og attend og trainings or seminars or go further studies. So dili po ta mahimong model, no, will not be leading by example. So mao gina siya, no, school heads, we need to be an example in terms of professional development so that we can also motivate others, no, we can motivate our teachers, no, to follow us, no. Okay, so yon. Now it also recognizes the importance of professional standards in the continuing professional development and advancement of school heads. So the PPSSH also complements school leader qualities as it addresses career stage for professional development. Ito na yung sinabi ko sa inyo, no, kanina, professional development. Okay, so we do a lot of reflections on our personal and professional development to enhance our practices on leading our teachers as well as in their personal and professional development. So later, you will be knowing and understanding more about the PPSSH career stages, the domains and strands, and by doing so, you will be reflecting and assessing your own practices. Now, am I already, siguro makapangutana na ka, I am already a career stage principal or career stage 3 principal. So the PPSSH will help us, no, on that, no, reflecting and assessing our own practice. Now, especially in kung example, ating sarili are on career stage 2, kailangan natin mag-level up to career stage 3, then through the indicators, ano na natin, no, we can already think of what we're going to do. So ano bang klaseng professional development ang kailangan natin so that we go up to the next level or the next career stage. Now, what is the PPSSH standards for? Articulates the professional practice expected of a quality school head. Now, what are the professional practices that are expected of us so we can be called heads? And I know that we have our leadership styles and practices. No? We have our way of leading, our own, maybe unique way of leading our school. And we have been practicing them for a long period of time. But the question is, no, are we improving in our practices? Are we learning from our experiences? No? Or are we progressing as a school head? Kung career stage ta, 1 ta karon, career stage 1 baghihapon ta karon, or nag-level up na ta sa career stage 2. Okay. So, diha na to makita na we are progressing, no, in terms of leadership practices. The PPSSH therefore describes or defines our leadership as school head through the professional practices as indicated in the different domains and career stages, which will be discussed by the succeeding facilitators. Okay. The PPSSH serves as a public statement of professional accountability of school heads. No? The professional accountability atong mga tulubagon, no? Sa ba atong mga accountability, sa ba atong mga tulubagon that we need to reflect on and assess. No? We are going to assess our own practice, no, in terms of our accountability in our school. So daghan kayong accountabilities, and di ba? And knowing in practicing our leadership in schools, no, through doing or fulfilling our accountabilities or performing our jobs as school heads. Siguro dili man jud nato siya ma-perfect, but if we find it really kulang pag yun ang ato ang pamaagi that we need to learn more, then we have to decide on pursuing professional development. So therefore, as I have said earlier, we need to do a lot of reflections and assessments of our own practices and align them to the standards. Next, sets out what school heads are expected to know, be able to do, and value as they progress in their profession. So the PPSSH describes the expectations of school heads, increasing level of knowledge, practice, and professional engagement. It's not only about knowing. So, di ba, when we attend trainings or seminars or webinars, di ba, we are learning. Now, after learning, what's the next step? But we need to apply what we have learned, right? And also practice. Make it a practice already. So it becomes a practice already. So if it's all about leadership, then it becomes a leadership practice already. And later value it. So if it becomes a value already, then it will not already be taken from you. Now, wherever you go as a school head, that practice is already with you. That value is already with you. Dili na gini siya mawala sa imuha, no? So, ayun. Next is, provides for a common language for high impact leadership expected of school heads. So when can we say that we are already high impact, no? We're able to guide individual professional reflections as well as professional discussions among educational leaders and other stakeholders, and to inform the provision of professional learning and development for school heads. So, school heads, since we set the direction of the school, so it is therefore important that we are well informed of the common language for high impact leadership, which the PPSSH provides. Okay. That shall be the foundation of relevant human resource systems, policies, guidelines, and mechanisms, including the recruitment, selection, and placement, performance, appraisal, rewards and recognition, and talent management of students. So this speaks of our roles as, or our role as human resource managers, diba? Okay, diba? We make policies, although in the recruitment, we are following certain guidelines also, like DepEd Order number 7 or DepEd Order number 22, no? But in school, since we're the ones accepting the documents of teachers, so we also have established, right, our policies, you know, on this in our school. We have guidelines and we have mechanisms. Now, in the recruitment, diba, before we submit our report on vacancy, no, when we already have recruited a teacher, we do background check, right? Background investigation. This is very important because it's really very important to know the background of the personnel you are hiring to. Kay basi di ay in the previous employer na ani siya kanang really maayo nga reputation, no? So which is not fitted to the job. Sa giingon na nga mas maayo pa daw, it's better to fire before you hire. So i-fire na nato before pa siya ma-hire kay we know through the background check na kani siya is dili day siya maayo nga i-employ sa Department of Education. So i-fire na lang nato, no, dili na nato siya i-hire. So it's good really that we have this what we call background investigation before submitting our ROV, no, to the division. And also aside from that, no, may I just share with you kanang experience na ako no during the interview with an applicant. Na niingon gid ang applicant that I am a late person. So sa interview pa lang, so may balaan na nato na, oy, dili siya fitted for the job, just like, niingon mangani siya, no? Sa interview pa lang na she or he is a late person. Unsa na lang kung nana siya sa position, no, in DepEd, no, samot na siguro ni siya mahimong late person. So yan, it's better to fire before we hire. Also, yan, basis for appraisal. So kita, we in the division of diversity, di ba, we have our uniform performance appraisal. Yung rewards naman, we have the praise, no, and aside from that, in our respective schools, maybe we have our own rewards program, no, program for rewards and recognition for our personnel or our teaching and non-teaching staff. Also, the basis for all their professional development programs. So the PPSSH is the basis of relevant frameworks, the procedures, guidelines, and processes for human resource. Okay, so may I mention again the recruitment, selection, placement, performance evaluation, incentives and recognition, and talent management. Okay. Of course, we include here also the professional development for the learning and professional development of our staff. The PPSSH aims to set out clear expectations of school heads along well-defined career stages of professional development from beginning to exemplary practice. So the PPSSH sets specific standards of school leaders in definite career phases or stages, of technical and professional growth from beginning to outstanding or exemplary practice. Now, engage school heads to actively embrace a continuing effort to attain high levels of proficiency. This means that the PPSSH engages school leaders to fully support an ongoing initiative to achieve high standards of competence. So this is always the ultimate goal, which the PPSSH will provide us on how we are going to attain the high level of proficiency. So there's going to be a continuing effort to attain the high level of proficiency. Next is to provide support for professional learning and development and help identify development needs and facilitate uniform assessment of performance. So the PPSSH therefore supports professional and learning development, and it also helps define the needs for development and promote uniform performance appraisal. Okay. Through the PPSSH, DepEd commits to A. Support school heads in the performance of their mandates and roles in the regions, schools, division, and or schools, including the improvement of teacher quality and eventually learner achievement. Letter B. Promote the continuing professional development and advancement of school heads based on the principles of career-long learning. And letter C. Help school heads reflect on and assess their own practice as they aspire for and pursue professional development. So these are the Department of Education's commitments through the PPSSH or the Philippine Professional Standards for School Heads. Now let's move on to the PPSSH framework. The framework shows conceptual sphere of leadership practices in 5 domains. So what are these 5 domains? So we have leading strategically, managing school operations and resources, focusing on teaching and learning, developing self and others, building connections. So these five, no, are the domains, no, in as reflected in this framework, and you will be knowing more about these domains, no, in the next session. Okay, it also depicts the synergy or the interaction, the collaboration between maximizing school effectiveness and ensuring people effectiveness through a broad sphere of instructional and administrative practices. So how can we maximize school effectiveness and people effectiveness? It is through the broad sphere of instructional and administrative practices. Also, it shows learners at the center, no, at the center of the framework. Okay, what does it mean? No, it means that the role of school heads for the improvement of learner achievement is being emphasized. No? So our role is, of course, is to develop holistically developed Filipino learners. So this is at the center. No, the learners are really at the center of this framework. The PPSSH framework adheres to the following principles. A, it is a learner-centered, or it is learner-centered. This means that the framework centers the child, who is the very core of education. As stated in the National Policy Board for Educational Administration 2015, page 4, school heads are expected to foster safe, caring, and supportive school learning communities and promote rigorous curricula, instructional, and assessment systems. Letter B, it emphasizes building and strengthening a network of stakeholders for school and people effectiveness. This principle requires school heads to build and strengthen a network of organizational supports. And what are these organizational supports? So we have, for example, the professional capacity of teachers and staff, the professional community in which they learn and work, the family and community engagement, and the effective, efficient management and operations. This is still according to the National Policy Board for Educational Administration 2015. The PPSSH framework highlights developing and improving a connection of stakeholders for the school and people effectiveness. So, as the popular or the very popular African proverb says, diba, it takes a village to educate a child. So there is really, it's really important, no, to build and strengthen a network of stakeholders in order to develop, no, the school and people effectiveness. Letter C, it reflects the understanding of problems and issues at the school and the need to address them. This principle states that school heads are expected to reflect on the prevalent or the pervasive needs or concerns of learners, teachers, parents, community, and other stakeholders in order to address them effectively. So the PPSSH mirrors the awareness of school issues and problems and the need to tackle them. Of course, as school leaders, we always have to face whatever problems and issues we have in our school. Now, always tackle them immediately before it gets worse or they get worse. Now, letter D, it focuses on developing high-quality instructions, developing a strong school culture, and ensuring job-embedded professional development for school personnel. This principle revolves around the idea that school heads are responsible in developing people. And who are these people that we are developing? They are, of course, our teachers, our learners, our community. And also in improving school practices by addressing the personal and professional needs of teachers and enhancing the school's learning environment. So this requires a thorough reflection on how we should deal with our people so that they will become productive, and on how should we address their needs, not only their professional needs but also their personal needs. Letter E, it reflects values and concepts in promoting school success. So this principle highlights the importance of promoting the stated values and concepts at the school level in order to foster a high level of commitment among stakeholders. So as school leaders, we always have in mind, different practices or styles on how we can improve the level of commitment of our stakeholders, on how we can improve, for example, is there's already a problem in our community, in our school, for example, how we are going to develop a school culture that is really building a very good relationship with each other, no? And how are we going to shape the values and attitudes of our personnel so they will become productive, no? And of course, the best, Jude, is on how we are going to develop the commitment, the level of commitment of our teaching and non-teaching staff. Okay, letter F, it regards supervision as a crucial organizational behavior in school management. This principle emphasizes the relevance of supervision in setting directions in the school to achieve its goals and objectives for the benefit of the learners. So maybe we can ask ourselves, how are we now as school leaders in terms of instructional leadership? Do we still have supervise our teachers when it comes to their when it comes to the delivery of the different learning modalities during this new normal setup? Or we already focusing more on managing our school operations and maybe financial aspect of being school heads. So, and then we already have forgotten one of the most important functions or roles of, or our one of our important roles, which is, of course, to do instructional supervision. So that is very crucial, no? In the supervision is very crucial organizational behavior in school management. Letter G, it highlights the importance of accountability and transparency of school heads. This principle states that the decisions and actions of school heads are open to public scrutiny, and the public has the right to access information. In addition, school heads acknowledge and assume responsibilities and have the obligation to report, explain, and or be answerable for their actions, products, decisions, and policies. That's according to RA 9155, Chapter 1, Section 5. So by being transparent, what do we do? If we lead our school with transparency, diba? We do report everything, to our stakeholders. Just like we report our SRC or our school report card during our stakeholders forum. And this contains, of course, our school report card is a way of being transparent because we report not only our achievements but also our failures in terms of access quality, and governance. And by doing so, also we are also sharing our responsibility and accountability to them. Letter H is it is anchored on the principles of inclusivity. The principles of inclusivity recognizes the unique and specific needs of individuals and groups in learning and work environments. So they affirm and accommodate diversity arising from but not limited to religious, cultural, linguistic, and gender differences. So as school leaders, we need to find or we need to implement inclusive education. Or that is by giving access to all learners despite of their abilities, disabilities, their race, religion. So our department has a lot of programs for inclusivity. So we need to apply this or implement this in our respective schools. So these are the principles from which the PPSSH framework is adhered to. To sum up our discussions on the familiarization of the PPSSH, we can say that the PPSSH or the development of the PPSSH is research-based and principle-based, which aims, of course, to guide us in pursuing our personal and professional development and to do continuing effort to attain high level of proficiency. Okay, before I end my session with you, let me share with you this cartoon. Okay, now try to focus on what's going on in this picture or in this cartoon and reflect on among these three, who are you among these three? Are you the one who gives the round wheel, or the one who say no thanks, or the one who says we are too busy? Okay, and how are you going to relate this picture to the PPSSH? Okay, I will give you 5 minutes to think or to reflect on this. And after 5 minutes, you may write your reflection in the chat box, or you can open your mic. You can unmute your mic so that you can express orally your reflection, and so that others can also hear your reflection. Okay, so 5 minutes.
Okay, ma'am.
I will be reading some of the reflections if they are written in the chat box. But I would really appreciate if there are brave school heads who can really express orally in this meeting, in this orientation, so others can listen to your reflection. I have not yet seen any reflection written in the chat box. But maybe 5 minutes naman siguro, wala pa no. Sige, 5 minutes. I'll give you time to reflect in 5 minutes. Ang first yun akong tawagon ani kay si pangandam na lang yun diha, Doki Jason Reyes.
Okay po, ready na po.
Ah, yes! Ready na si Doki Jason. Yes! Yes, Jess.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning to our speaker, Dr. Aida Plasencia. Based on the picture, for me, it depicts that with the help of this uh, orientation, especially I am new in the field of work. I was assigned last June to handle a school. So this is just somewhat that we need to know our roles and responsibilities and accountability. So maybe I am very much busy as of now because since I am new, I have a lot of things to do like financial management, especially I have MOE. So I could see a picture that I am too busy, and it's somewhat that some of my teacher will share me that, sir, we should have this one, we should have like that. Then I would just say, okay, just have this first. Then I forgot my main roles, especially in the instructional leadership. This is somewhat Doc Aida.
Wow, thank you very much, no, Doki Jason Reyes. It's really what's this? The point of view from a new school head, no, Sir Jason.
Yes, I agree.
No.
I'm so excited to listen and to
I
read
can
about
also
the.
feel you because I felt the same way when I was assigned during my first year of assignment as a school head, way back 2013. That
Yes,
you don't
ma'am.
know what to do, di ba? You think that you are really very busy, no? Of course,
Yes,
but of course, since we are already here, we need to adapt, no, to the changes that we are facing, especially now during the new normal setup, no, in our educational system. So we need to
yes, ma'am.
adapt all the changes, no, the hardships, the difficulties, the obstacles that we are facing. Kanina, I was
Sure.
just listening, no, the conversation of other principals, no, regarding the reproduction. Si naghugot jud si Doc Lea Mandafe Camilote sa mga reproduction of modules, di ba? And I think na murag mauna lang gid na atong bukang bibig this time. Okay, that we almost forgot now one of the very important, our very important role, which is on instructional supervision. Yes,
Yes,
I agree with you, Dr. Jason. Thank you so much. Very well
yes.
said.
Thank you.
Okay, we also have here from in the chat box, no, from Sir Edwin Roma, school head should be open-minded, have time to listen to the idea or suggestion of others. Yes, sir, I agree with you, no? So we really need to be open-minded, especially if we are new in the system. We need really people to ask to, with regards to our problems and issues in the school. So we need to be open-minded. Dili ko yung nga, ay, i-assign man ko diri hawod na jud kayo ko, dili na ko mangayo pa og idea sa uban kay hawod na kay ko. Di ba, no? So kailangan open-minded, and if our superiors also will advise us, no, they will give us technical assistance that that this is the right thing to do. So we should be open, no, to accept, no, the advice of our superiors. Yan. Thank you kaayo, Sir Edwin. And so we also have here from Sir Yuri. Sir Yuri, mingaw man ta kayo, Sir Yuri. Maybe you can just read your reflection orally, sir. Sir Yuri Giovanni, kay wala pa ko kaila sa imo, sir. Ako nagtago lang ko, sir, kay unstable ang amo ang internet connection, basi mawala ko. Basi kusog ang imong internet connection diya, Sir Yuri Giovanni Kulita. Kindly read na lang, sir, your reflection. Basi pareho pad ni sir, no? So I'll just read his reflection, having connectedness to co-teachers and the people in the community, knowing them well could be elements to school success. Yes. So connectedness, no? As school heads, we should be building connections with our co-teachers. So dili po dyan na ka ng taas na dyan kay ka, no? Di na dyan ka maduulan nga. Ingon pa nila, remember naman hinuna ko sa una nga, mura daw Ginoo si school head. Nahadlok man sila sa Ginoo. Kung naana si school head, kay manago na sila. There was one, group of teachers na sila maabot na daw ilang principal. Ihulog na daw nila tanan ilang kurtina sa classroom. Kay mahadlok sila, makakita pa lang daw sa naong sa principal na, di nga na. Wala naman siguro na karon, no? Sa una pa siguro na. But this time, no, murag we are building connection naman with our teachers, diba? We have become more consultative when it comes to decision making and implementation of our programs and projects, diba? So murag wala naman dyan siguro itong sa una nga mga kadlukan. Even the people in the division office, during my first year of teaching in DepEd, murag mahadlok ko makakita sa ilang nawong. But now, we have different sets of people already in the division office, no? Very accommodating people. Kaya lang due to strict health protocol, di na ta basta-basta makasulod sa division office. But anyway, even before pa sa new normal set up, accommodating na gid ang mga division office personnel. Di na ta mahadlok sa ilaha. Okay, knowing them well could be elements. Yes, sir. So as shepherds, we should know our sheep. So we should know their potentials, their weaknesses, their strengths. So guided on how we are going to guide them, or how are we going to lead them. So according to Sir Francis Daryl Chato, sir, would you mind reading your reflection, sir, para duha na punta magtingog-tingog dire, sir. I would really appreciate, sir, if you are going to read orally your reflection written. Nindot ba kayo po imong reflection, sir? Sama po kanindot sa mga reflection sa uban. Sir Francis, are you around? Murag na ulaw lang siguro si sir.
Hi, ma'am. Hi, Doc. Good morning po.
Hello, sir. Hello. Sige, sir. Would you mind reading your reflection na lang, sir? Or maybe you can add more or elaborate more your reflection so that others will hear you, Sir Francis. Thank you, sir.
Okay po, Doc. Am I audible po? I'm so sorry.
Yeah, sir.
Okay, thank you po, Doc. Good morning to one and all, especially to our speaker, Dr. Ida Plasencia, Doc. As a school head, it is very important for me to welcome pieces of advice from experienced school heads, especially that I am new in the field of school leadership. Suggestions from my colleagues, which includes my teachers, my mentors, my friends, the parents around me, and the LGU in the community, and innovations implemented by the department, because these would definitely help me improve my quality as a school head, thereby improving the quality of the teachers and learners under my care.
Wow, thank you, Sir Francis. No, by listening to your voice, sir, maybe I can guess that you are still very young. Very young, pag siguro si Sir Francis, no? How many years have you been a school head, Sir Francis?
I was just assigned last August 2020 po, Doc.
Wow, congratulations, sir. Bago pa giday si sir, no? But you have a very, very good reflection, sir, no? It's all about being open-minded again, no?
Thank
School
you,
head, yes. We should listen to the pieces of advice, no, given to us by experienced school heads. Maybe the school heads which we can really, whom we can really consider as mga career stage for school heads. No? Exemplary school heads. So we need to listen to their advice, na suggestions also from our colleagues. No, I agree. Where are you assigned, sir? In what cluster, Sir Francis?
I'm assigned at Roberto F. Capulong National High School po in Cluster 5 po.
Where is that, sir? I'm not so familiar with the school. Okay, but anyway.
The school is somewhere in Eden po, but lower portion, into Rio.
Eden. Near Bayabas?
Una, unahan pagamay, Doc.
Okay. So, because sir, no? So, you listen to the suggestions, but I know, sir, especially those that are assigned in hinterlands, kana mga like Marilog, district, mga Pakibato, ang mga school heads usually, sir, no, before in doing something like mga reports or mga like making of the SIP, there will always be a brainstorming among the school heads, mga colleagues, no, magsabutay na even in making the mga policies in the school. So I know ganang mga naa sa mga anak ang mga lugar, mga layo-layo ng mga lugar ng mga districts, no, they are always grouping together, no, and do brainstorming, discussing something on how to do this or that. Yung ana ang ginahimo sa mga, especially sa mga new school heads, no? Because we can always learn from others. All we have to do is just to open our hearts and minds from the suggestions of everyone. Because we are not only the bright person in the world. There are many brighter persons. Dagan pagid kayong bright, sir, no? And more intelligent persons and more experienced and knowledgeable persons who could really help us in the implementation of programs and projects of the Department of Education. By doing that, we can also be, that can also help us become quality school head. If we are open-minded, dali na punta mahimong quality school head. We'll be equipped with the knowledge and skills to become better, if not the best school head in the Department of Education.
Agree.
Okay, any more? Daghan na ka-idea rin, no? So there's another one from Lisari Bargayo. School leadership is a lonely place to stay. But as the song goes, and if by chance that special place that you've been dreaming of leads you to a lonely place, pwede na kantahon ni
Kantahan si Ma'am Bargayo.
Kaya kanta daw natin ni Ma'am Bargayo.
Yes, ma'am. Gwapo na
singer din na siya. No, sige. Kantahan na lang daw. But if by chance that special place that you've been dreaming of leads you to a lonely place, sige, kanta ni Gwapo, winning kanta. Find your strength in love. Fine. O, sige. That's love for nation building will lead you to meet people whom you think are not capable but are at the right people to help you. Yes. Ma'am Leia, kaubanin mo ni si Ma'am ni Sir?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. From Cluster 6, ma'am.
Sige, would you mind reading or singing
and
your reflection?
Day, sige na, Day.
Ma'am Lisari Bargayo, kay Mingaw, kayo ma'am. Uy.
Madungog naman kung amo, no?
Yes, ma'am Lisari.
Okay. Good morning, tanan. Good morning, ma'am. Gikuha lang nako ni kagahapon sa sipag ba, pero it's kanang very kaning touching na linya sa The Greatest Love of All by Whitney Houston, tama ba ko? No.
Pagpakita di ay ka, Ma'am Bargayo. Mamitari pakita daw.
Sir, ma'am, wala pa ako kailanin mo, ma'am. Pwede ka mag-open
matay dyan ang akong signal, sir. Luhay kayo.
Pwede ay.
Liha, day taani, ma'am.
Sige, lagi, ma'am. Kuan lang ka ng...
Ay,
kantahon ako, no?
Yes.
Uy, muubo jud tani. Alo. Sige. And if by chance that special place that you've been dreaming of leads you to a lonely place, find your strength in love. Char! Thank you. Na naman ko
Yay!
chitaron.
Part one clap for Ma'am Lisari. Thank you, ma'am.
Okay, thank you po.
Mapagod
Welcome.
kayo sa tingog, Ma'am Leia.
Gani, ma'am.
Okay, ano din ang mga singer, no? Nga, even sa mga reflection, no? Makantag yun.
Correct.
Okay. Yes, thank you, Ma'am Lisari. Any more reflection? Murag naka-reflect yun na sila. The more that they can think, the more that they can think of the reflection because of your singing. Very good singing, Ma'am Lisari Bargayo. Very good singer din. Mo ni ang singer sa Cluster 6, Ma'am Leia?
Yes. Daghan pa na diya, ma'am.
Oh, si
Si Josie Malanog, ma'am. Singer po na, ma'am. Cluster 5.
Okay, kay naaman po siya yung reflection dari. Pakanta po dato ni.
Yes, ma'am.
From Josie Malanog. Ma'am Josie Malanog, can we hear from you, ma'am? And can you please read or sing your reflection written in the chat box?
Hello, ma'am. Good morning po.
Hi, good morning, Ma'am Jinky pala. Ma'am Jinky is with us now. We are very privileged to have here with us, Ma'am Jinky. Yes, Ma'am Josie.
Ma'am, kanang ilang ko mukanta, ma'am. Musugot ko patso, ilang ko mukanta.
Ay, ayaw ko naman.
Tama, boy.
Sige, ma'am. Okay. Chant na lang, ma'am. Just chant or sa manimon siya.
Ma'am, normal lang pagbasa, ma'am.
Okay, ma'am.
Tama, ma'am. Normal lang.
Hangyo, gani, ma'am ba? Hangyo, yun. Teka, mama. Nawala mo to ko, ma'am, ay?
Nara, ma'am.
Teka, mama. Oops. Solicit and accept suggestions and ideas from other experienced school heads on how to lead the teachers and to create connectivity, both internal and external stakeholders.
Okay. Sige, ma'am. Dahil na po, ma'am Josie.
Opo.
Thank you
Yes,
so
ma'am.
much, Ma'am Josie Malanog of Cluster 7. Cluster 5. So according to her, solicit and accept suggestions, no, and ideas. So just still, no, it's all about being open-minded, no. So if you are open-minded, you are always ready to listen to others, especially to our superiors, no, because their words are always given, no, for the good of our services, no, or service, to improve us, no, in leading our respective schools. Okay, we have another one from Ma'am Virginia Pinales. Ma'am Virginia Pinales, are you still around? Wala na si Ma'am Virginia. According to Ma'am Virginia Pinales, as school head, I need to be always updated and open-minded. Consult stakeholders, accept suggestions. Yes, ma'am. No? To be updated. So updated with all the DepEd orders and memoranda. Diba, ma'am? Okay, we need to know or to be guided with the orders and memoranda always, and always be open-minded, again, no, to consult stakeholders and accept suggestions. Okay, so any more? Si Sir Raul, no? Very cheerer, give si Sir Raul Kabilugan. Sir Raul, can we hear from you, Sir Raul? Asa na galing ni si Sir Raul na assign? Sir, hear hear from you, Sir Raul.
Mike, Sir Raul.
Unmute, please, sir.
Mike mo, sir.
Ay, yes, ma'am. Sorry po. Los Amigos na sa high school, ma'am.
Yes, sir.
Tuwan naman ko ito, ma'am. Congrats.
Mabasa maguna ko, ganahan ko ni sir kay he is always cheering, no? Those who are sharing the reflection. So, I think, sir, it's time for you to share also your reflection on the cartoon that you have just that is presented.
Yes, ma'am. Looking back at the picture, ma'am, I think I am on a busy person, pretending to be busy, but employing the old approach. Kasi makita sa square na ligid, ma'am. And then, tend to be on number 2 na refusing some updates like this, like webinar, because of we are overshadowed by being too busy. And as I reflect on this, we should be open-minded. We should be how to accept whatever new things, new approaches given to us. Yes, that's all, ma'am. And of course, we should also be in cooperation with other school heads, because we can also learn from them, and also accept technical assistance, and as always to help our PSTS and overseas that could help us, our EPS, so to be able to improve our leadership style, our how to manage the school. I think that's all, ma'am, and thank you po.
Wow, thank you, Sir Raul, for being brave in sharing your reflection with us this morning. You are not only a cheerer, but you are also a sharer. Thank you, sir, for being so honest, sir. I also agree with you that we have not always on the go every time. We are not always enthusiastic every time. There are times wherein we can always so feel that we are very busy, very heavy sometimes. But then, according to you, sir, we need to be open-minded, especially now that we have this PPSSH. That there's a need for us to embrace the PPSSH standards so that we can improve. Now, we will not only settle for being traditional as a school head, but we need to be innovative also by following the PPSSH standards. Then we can, as what you've said, improve our leadership practice. And it is through the help of our superiors. You've said about the technical assistance to be given by our PSDSS, and our EPS and other superiors. Our ASDS, our SDS, so they can help us improve our leadership practice. So thank you, Sir Raul. Any more? So in the chat.
Yes, ma'am. Can I?
Yes, Ma'am Chan. Ma'am
Yes, ma'am.
Marites?
Yes.
Hi, Ma'am Tess.
No, I am on my way to the division, ma'am. I'm just listening. That's why I cannot make a comment on the chat box. Anyway,
Yes, ma'am.
Refer to the cartoon that you had presented. I would prefer to associate myself the one handling the tire or ano yan siya, gulong. Kasi that would imply or depict my journey to the division of to the Department of Education. So actually, ma'am, my wish in my journey to the Department of Education to have a smooth journey despite the adversities I faced or we faced in our situation. But I would like to share that as a school leader, there is always adversity, and let us make these adversities we face as an opportunity for us to develop as leaders. I think that's all I can share, ma'am.
Wow, thank you, Ma'am Marites.
Buwan ng classmate na ko, right?
Gani, gapa dyan si Ma'am, kay kuan ba yan ni siya, kanang one of the protocol officers during the palaro, di Ma'am Marites. Yes, Ma'am. Even if we are faced by adversities no, in leading our school, we should be always, we should make these adversities as the avenue to learn, no? Because we are always, but we need to learn from our experiences, just like in handling problems and issues in the school. It is by then that we can learn also, no, to look for the necessary remedy, no, for the problems and issues that we have in our schools. So it's at the same time learning and moving forward. Diba, Ma'am Marites?
Yes, ma'am.
So we cannot always have a very smooth leadership
But
in our
always
lives.
the best
So
that
we can
we have.
always, there are always problems and issues or other concerns that we do. Thank you, Ma'am Marites. Any more? So we have here another from reflection from the higher the position, the bigger and wider understanding should be applied. So harmonious relationship will be achieved. School head is nothing without the support of the teachers and LGUs. So reaching out and taking care of each other is the key. Yes, ma'am. We need to reach out and take care of each other. No? And we should always think everyone in our school, in our community is as our partners. No? We need to build connections with them. We need to build a very strong relationship with them. So we will be able to achieve our goals, no, in our school. Yan. There should be harmonious relationship. So we need to establish a culture of harmonious relationship between and among our stakeholders, especially our teachers. Eh, lisod pod kaayo kung ato ang mga teachers kaaway nato, no. Tanan na suko sa tuwa. So what can we expect from them? So luoy kay tanong kita na lang mag-say wala tay kauban. Okay? Thank you so much, Ma'am Mary Rose Digal. Any more? Any more reflection from Sir Ingay? Sir Solfesio Ingay Jr. School head should be the role model to everyone. The way he or she talks and the way he or she acts. So role model. Yun, leading by example. We should always be the example for others. So, dili na pwede na nga, mingon ka nga, himua lang ang akong gipahimo sa imuha, ayaw lang sundang akong ginahimo, dili man na pwede. So we have to lead by example. We need to be role models to everyone in our community. So another from Manawang National High School, more minds are better than one. Listening and consulting ideas from colleagues can build strong relationship from others. And listening, we must do our tasks as school head, even if with or without our superior supervision. So ganahan kay ko ani Sir Erwin Neri, with or without the supervision of our superiors, we need to do our tasks. So we can be dependent upon even without supervision from our superiors. Ana gid siya, trabaho lang yun. Kasi walay nagtanaw, dili kay mo trabaho lang kay naay naga-supervise. So this is a sign of being self-motivated, Jude Sir Erwin Neri. No? As school leaders, we must adjust of what will be the situation, especially now we are in the new normal. We have to be positive. Even if there's always a negative thing to happen, but we should be resilient enough and just be positive. So that we can also we can also kanang transfer the same positivity to our teachers, no, to our colleagues in the field. Kaya kung kita negative na, samot naman negative po atong mga teachers. So, we need to be positive as school head. School head as steward needs to be Sir Tata Gerson Andrade. Sir Tata, hello.
Yes, Doc. Good morning.
Good morning, Sir Tata. Will you please, sir, explain more your reflection here? Kay very short lang good siya, sir. I know you can say a lot more, no?
Sige, Doc. I will try. School head as a steward needs to be a servo servorum. It was the term used by our the church that to be a leader, not to be a servant. You must serve, of course, from our stakeholders, mga bata, parents, teachers, and everything as part of the community. Manang giingong nga servo servorum.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much, sir, for explaining your reflection written in the chat box, no? Servo servorum. So this means that you need to be servant-led leaders, no? Servant leaders. So, gone are the days na ang mga leaders sa una murag yung Ginoo, no? Maglok kita sa ila, pero karon the leaders are already servant leaders. Okay, from Sir Suganog, as school head, we need to learn, relearn, and unlearn. Yes, sir, I agree with you, sir. 100%, sir. Sir Molong, why are you just writing your reflection in the chat box? Would you mind saying this orally, Sir Molong? I want to hear your voice, sir. We want to hear your voice. Kami di ay, Sir Molong.
Ma'am?
Sir, sige na, Sir Molong, di. Na-miss naman good ako ang voice ni mo, Sir Molong. Good.
Okay. Good morning, ma'am.
Yes, good morning, Sir Molong.
I'll be asking one question, mama, paguman sa akong reflection. Okay. Being a leader, ma'am, occupying the golden seat in the school does not give us the right to enslave people. But rather, this is not also a lonely place to be, but this gives us the opportunity to be happy by helping others.
Wow, murag pinarik jud ni Sir ba, Sir Molong, murag pinarik jud ni siya. No, tama gina. Yes, Sir Molong.
Lagi mangutan na, ma'am.
Yes, kung kaya na ko tubagon.
Ay, kaya ni mo, ma'am.
Naman si Doc Leia ko.
Yeah.
You mentioned earlier, ma'am, about the character investigation.
Yes, sir.
And
background investigation.
Yes, ma'am. Background investigation. And the background investigation is being done before we hire the teacher or before we submit the ROV to the division office.
Yes, sir.
What if the CI shows that the teacher or the applicant is undesirable? Then do we have the option not to sign the ROV and submit it to the division office and let the division office decide whether to accept or not the applicant?
I think so, sir. I think so, diba? That's the essence of having the background investigation, diba? To check whether the teacher is really capable or is really fitted to job. I think, sir. Anyway, Ma'am Jinky is with us also. I think she can also add.
Yes,
Ma'am Jinky.
Yes, ma'am. Good morning, Sir Molong. Okay. Actually, just for us to know that it actually passed by your office, your table, you may sign and you may add a comment as sign with reservation. Anyway, we will also be looking into the BI itself, no? So before the appointing authority would decide to give that item to or promotion to that person, at least we have our data to look into if the person indeed deserves the promotion or the item to be given. So you may sign just for us to know that if indeed was shown to you also, but you may put with reservations. Meaning, nagpirma kayo pero because of the result of the BI, you're not attesting your signature to agree to that to the findings. Yun lang, sir. Para alam namin dumaan sa iyo tapos pumirma ka. Oo, pero with reservations ang iyong signature. Ganun lang. I have done that in Occidental. There was also one person due for promotion. Sa SDO talaga siya. So nakita ko talaga ang trabaho niya. So I signed, but I placed there being the chair of the HRMPSB with reservation. So it's up to the appointing authority to decide. No, basta ako pumirma ako at with reservation because of yun nga ng result na kanyang BI. Yun lang.
Pumirma din naman ako, ma'am. I experienced that, ma'am, before. Pumirma din ako doon because when we did the investigation, ma'am, talagang triangulation talaga yun. Not only one employer yung nagbigay, kundi tatlo talaga yun, ma'am. Tapos dun sa tatlo, ma'am, consistent siya na she's really undesirable. So what I did, I assigned the ROB, the investigation results. Then, doon ako nag-reflect when I was told by sir na if you're not going to hire this person, then she will not have the chance to be in the Department of Education. What I did is I signed and the ROB, and this time she's now teaching in the public school, and I think she's doing good also, ma'am.
Okay.
Wow.
Yeah. So yun lang, sir. Kasi pag nakita namin walang signature, we would also think na nakita ba ito o hindi, ibabalik sa iyo for signature. So you just sign it so that we would know that you have seen the document and you signed that you have your reservations because of yun nga na the results of the BI or your personal knowledge about that person.
Thank you, ma'am.
Yan po.
So thank you, Sir Molong. It's really good that you have asked that question because many of us will also learn on what we're going to do in case we have a case like that. Thank you, Ma'am Jinky.
Salamat, Ma'am Aida. Salamat, Ma'am Jinky.
Ma'am Aids?
Yes, Ma'am Jazz.
Pwede na siguro moderate some message si Ma'am Jinky. It's already
okay,
10:20.
sige.
Para
Okay,
after,
sige, Ma'am
we will take
Jinx.
a break na after kay Ma'am Jinky.
Okay,
Sige
Ma'am
po,
Jazz,
Jinky.
I'm done.
Mag-message pa din ko. Bilang kung kantar ako, nakapractice na ba yung ang ko dyan?
Pwede po,
Ay, Ma'am Jinky. We would love hearing from you. Kay nag-concert ka sa imong birthday, Ma'am Jinx.
Wala ko'y lingaw ato, wala mo ko'y bisita. So, likod ka palag among silingan, kay taas among gate. So, I took the chance of entertaining my visitors via FB Live. Yeah, but anyway, thank you very much. I believe this is our last batch for this school heads,
Yes,
right?
ma'am.
But I saw some elementary school principals. Mixed na ba ito?
Mga IS po yan, ma'am.
IS. Oh, okay.
Yes
So,
po.
yeah. Okay, so again, good morning everyone to our secondary school heads, of course to our very hardworking technical working group and our excellent facilitators who have been working so hard for how many batches na ito. Paulit-ulit, memorize na gud nila pati ang comments ninyo na sila ready nga answer. Kay kadaghan na gud siya na conduct, So I'm happy that we're down to our last batch. I know that you have been waiting for this, I believe, because when the PPSC came out, you also have been asking us, ma'am, kano sa jud mo gawas ang sa principals or school heads. So I know that you are well aware that the PPSC has become a relevant part of the crafting of the RPMS. So we will also expect that this PPSSH will also be the basis for the crafting of your own OPCRF later when it will be given to us by the central office. So I'd like to stress that our department considers the relevance of professional standards in the continuing professional development and advancement this time for our school leaders. After finishing this orientation, you will have a clear direction to thread, no, as you continuously improve yourselves as school heads or supervisors, no, later when we have our PPSS. With the standards now in place, there's now a clear expectation and roles definition among our education champions, specifically to our school heads. So dili na ta pares una matanaw asa man gyud ang tama, no? Asa man ang proper way of managing a school. Kay natay I have known of some school heads who are really, you know, tough leaders, no? They have achieved so much, but they also faced a lot of complaints, no? So now that you have the standards, you would know how to handle, no, practically our teachers and all the other stakeholders. As you know, standards ensure better accountability, no? Which means holding our school heads responsible for what goes on in the schools. So the practice of aligning learning to standards also helps ensure that a higher level of learning is attained, right? So and it will serve as a guide in leading our teachers and our school community in achieving our department vision and mission. So I know that it was mentioned in the session of Ma'am Aida, no, that this PPSSH has been benchmarked to other standards and underwent rigorous research process. In fact, the consultative process also involved DepEd officials from all levels, no, all over the Philippines. So I am sure that you are motivated and you are excited to know at which level you are in right now, and you are motivated to move from your current career stage to the next level stages until you reach the highest level, which should eventually bring our school leadership into greater heights. Right? So may this provide you with a basis for mutual understanding. Kasi sabi ko nga, iba-iba ang standards, no, ng bawat isa. So this is a mutual understanding, and this will be used, no, as a tool to facilitate the delivery of services to our clientele. What you just need to do, especially after or even during this orientation, you just have to internalize the standards, as this is crucial to in the pivot to quality set by the department. You have to reflect on your current level, think about how you can move to the next career stage, and you also have to consider the value of interfacing, no, the roles of our school heads and supervisors towards ensuring improved learning outcomes of our learners. Now, as this will also unfold once we are also able to present the standards for our supervisors. So, tuhog talaga ito. So, now that we have set the standards for teachers through the PPST, we have the PPSSH for our school heads, we will have the PPSS for our supervisors. We are now geared towards the accomplishment of our goal, which is the improvement of school performance. So may this policy give you a clearer picture of your career stages and would guide you in reaching the level of proficiency we expect from our school heads. No, so I have a long huge experience as a school head rather than an ASDS. This is my 4th year yet as an ASDS. So mas robust ang experience ko being a school head. And I would know by just standing by the gate if this particular school head is a lousy one. So alam na alam ko yun. Makikita mo talaga, you would know, tama itong giingon ni Ma'am Aida nga, liwat-liwat. No? So, kamo yung tigtimon. So I hope that we will get also the best of all of you so that we will be able to pull each other, hila-hila tayo towards the same direction. Okay, so thank you very much to all our attendees and to the efforts, of course, of our facilitators. May you have a meaningful engagement, no, in this orientation, 2-day orientation. Thank you and good morning.
Thank you, Ma'am Jinky. Thank you for gracing our orientation. Thank you sa message. Thank you sa clarification. Happy birthday!
Yeah. Thank you.
Birthday, ma'am.
Thank you. Salamat.
Manganta sa siguro ta.
I don't know, mga
Yeah, turn on all the microphone, please.
Wow.
Can you turn on your mics? Yeah, let's sing Ma'am Ange and Ma'am Jazz.
Happy birthday
Ma'am
to
Leon na.
you.
All together, sing.
Happy birthday
Okay, Ma'am Aida, kadali lang. Magbungan ka ba?
Oh, sige.
Turn on your
Ready.
microphones. Okay. Happy birthday to you. Together, sing. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday
Thank you very much. Salamat po sa mga bumati. Thank you. Bye.
Nalingaw. Sige.
Asa na tayo sa cluster 5 edad, dire?
Opo. Okay. Ma'am and sir, we have greeted our ASDS. Ayang birthday yesterday. And now it's time for us to take our
break.
Snacks po, break. So, let's have a 15-minute break. After 15 minutes, be back on the call. We will continue our orientation. Sige po, break muna. Ma'am Aida. Bibo ka Happy birthday. Birthday ni Ma'am Gapo.
Mga ito, si Sir Mac, ulong at ilong. Sila E4, wala sila ilong.
Hello, pre. Hello. Hello, ako ni-send sa messenger ang was, RA. Okay ra? Ako ni-send sa